Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Got a couple things to talk about real quick, and then we'll get into the video. The timestamp will be up above if you want to go there for the video. But I want to talk about some stuff from recent things here on the channel and some updates. First off, I want to say thank you for all the support on my previous video. It has almost hit 300,000 views, marking it the most popular video here on the channel. I love you guys. Love you guys. Now, there's something on that note that I want to add, which is that the video is a joke from April Fools. It is not a real video. The weapon that I created was from my own imagination that I was planning for about a week or so, and it is not real. I would love it to be real, but it is not, unfortunately. So everything in that video should be taken with, of course, no seriousness. There is a whole joke to it. It's not real. And I put it out in the comments and at the end of the video so you guys do know that. And the comment section points it out as well. Moreover, there was some criticism that I received from that and some, of course, messages and DMs from the publishing of that video. Again, I put this in a community tab. You are all entitled to your own opinion on that video, but I just want to let you know that it is for an April Fool's joke. It shouldn't be taken as, oh my god, Redrix, you suck, you know what I mean? So, again, I apologize for people wasting their time if they were actually looking at the exotic trying to find out if the crow was saying anything, but unfortunately, it was all a joke. But I do appreciate all the support as it reached our most popular viewed video, and it has gotten, a lot of subscribers, so thanks for that. And with that being said, let's get into the compliment for today's video. Now, the compliment for today's video is your creativity is on another level. Even if you don't think that, you all have amazing creativity in yourself. So just know that. I think you guys probably make amazing art and make amazing things in your normal lives, so hopefully that compliment lifts your day. And if you guys do want to subscribe here on the channel to be a part of our community, as only about 10% of you guys do, then please be sure to do that. We're trying to be a big community here on the Destiny 2 platform, and subscribing so we can get to 30k would mean a whole heck of a lot. But none of that, let's get right into this video. In this video, I want to talk about my top 5 changes that I want to see Bungie implement into Destiny 2 around or prior to the final Shapes release. We know Year 6 will deliver on some new changes, like the LFG feature that was going to launch with Lightfall, but now has been changed to Season 23. But with that being said, I want to talk about some features that I feel like Bungie starts to think about for the Final Shape, as I'm going to predict that Final Shape is going to launch around February, March, and April of 2024. That gives us roughly about a year to start, brainstorming some features that Bungie should bring to us after the saga concludes, so we can get ready for whatever comes next. And I feel like with Bungie right now, there has been some good yet some bad features that I feel like Bungie should start changing up, because I feel like it's not so organized right now in terms of a lot of the changes, and some of them, like Guardian ranks and accommodations, have just been somewhat of a mess with the Lightfall expansion launch. So I want to talk about my first feature, which is a power revamp. Now, I don't want to get into leaks because, again, some of you might not enjoy when I talk about leaks, but my true opinion is that I feel like a power revamp is something that needs to happen. We have been following the same system for so long now, as grinding for power, grinding for pinnacle, grinding for just an ongoing, power level for our weapons and armor for so many years, and the grind has been just the same. Now, this also comes to it being that, well, you always have to go and do the playlist activities, but it also comes down to, well, every expansion, you gotta do the campaign, you gotta do the raid, you gotta grind all these activities so you can do the raid, and that's it. There's not really like a whole heck of a lot you can really expand on, but I hate always doing the same thing. Power level to 1060, pinnacle to 1070, then the game is basically still till the next season. and the power revamp hasn't been all that great. A lot of people has criticized it for many years now, and I feel like Bungie should start focusing on something. There has been many yet leaks, but not so credible leaks on a power revamp maybe happening later on in the year and or in the final shape expansion. Time will tell if Bungie actually implements this, but I feel like Bungie is on the heels of actually doing it before the saga is over so they can have a huge fresh start in terms of power level, and I feel like that's a great thing Bungie should focus on. Now, my next change that I want to see is a more balanced difficulty for the game in general. Now, I love legendary difficulty. I love normal difficulty. Depending on what activity I want to play, I can pick what difficulty I want to do so I can get at least a good experience out of that activity that I'm doing. I don't want to load up to doing maybe the legendary campaign and for it to be not as hard as, well, just going to the patrol space on Neomuna to be a, well, let's just say a hard thing to do. The difficulty, well, at least having a harder difficulty is great, but I don't think there's, a very concise, very, organized way for difficulty for a lot of the activities. I feel like every time you load into an activity, you should be able to choose some sort of difficulty option. Now, we have seen this with a lot of activities, so it's not really a huge change, but there has been some that just don't feel that difficult, and then there's some that feel way too difficult. The seasonal activity from Season of the Seraph last season was a really good mix of being a bit more difficult than our regular normal seasonal activity that we have seen. Usually seasonal activities over the past couple of years are just joke activities and we can just blast through them. Seraph was not that, and then that battleground activity was one of the hardest activities I have seen for at least seasons. But I didn't really see a lot of that in the legendary campaign. Now, I did see some hard missions, but a lot of people actually criticized the legendary campaign to be roughly easy. And when you go to the patrol space on Neomuna, it's pretty hard. It doesn't feel that there's been a designated difficulty over your power level for every activity when it comes to difficulty options. Of course, Nightfalls and Strikes has always been really the same, as it has been, set to a certain difficulty for like 1780, 1810, 1830, etc. with Grandmasters. But they have made significant changes to Grandmasters in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of seasons, and they've also made some changes to how power level will be, over a certain cap of your, of course, gear level. But I feel like there needs to be more of a concise way for everything. I don't see it as a major thing to look at, but it is one of the changes I do want to see, as I feel like Bungie should implement something for every activity, or at least a difficulty option for everything. But that's just me. This next change goes at the seasons. We know seasons will be coming with the final shape, and it's likely we're going to receive more after, and we are still going to receive some from Lightfall to the final shape. This next change really goes out to the seasonal format. Now, Bungie has responded to a lot of backlash from Season of the Seraph talking about seasons going forward, of how starting with Season 21, Season of the Deep, we won't have a vendor, sort of thing that we need to upgrade throughout the weeks, and that really got bad. All last year was just upgrading a vendor every season. There was nothing crazy to it, but there was still some little things throughout the seasons that made it, a bit more, let's just say, different from the others. With Season of the Haunted, there was a lot of secrets throughout the Leviathan. With Season of the Plunder, there was a lot of secrets when you're being a pirate in the EDZ. There was even like an exotic sparrow, hidden treasure. There's a lot of those things that a lot of people enjoy. But there's also a lot of things that seasons keep doing, and I feel like Bungie needs to change that. I'm asking for a more, balanced, concise, and a way much more different season going forward than ever. Now, we know Bungie is going to start doing a lot more changes to seasons going forward. They like the themes that they did last year, but they want to make it a bit better. I really want Bungie to go all out on these seasons. Now, I know that many of you are asking, you can't go out too much on a season because Bungie has already said that going out on seasons is not the way to go for a live service game. And I completely understand that argument. But we cannot get bad seasons going from Lightfall to Final Shape. The story has been a big importance to many, and I feel like people do not want to have another season of the Haunted, season of the Plunder type 6 month, cycle. We don't want that. And I do not want for us to have a very stale playlist, activities throughout those seasons. I don't want to receive nothing for the playlist activities, yet being told from the season to go and do strikes, crucible maps, and gambit. It makes no point to go and do those things when you're not giving us anything in terms of that. We know we're getting the Meltdown Crucible map returning next season. That's cool. We're getting a new Crucible map next season. The season after that. That's pretty cool. We're not getting any new strikes, I don't think, throughout the year. Don't like that. And we have yet to see a new Gambit map since April of 2019, which is very bad for Bungie. I hope Bungie has some type of blog about Gambit. I swear to God. But seriously, we need to have a more concise and more organized way of how seasons are at least developed, at least. I'm not a game developer. I know I'm going to get criticized for being like this. However, I'm the one that's purchasing the seasons, same like you. I should be, given a much more better season for the price that I'm, giving Bungie if I'm purchasing a collector's or legendary edition for Destiny for that year. Lightfall hasn't been the best, and I really want Bungie to go all out on these next seasons. Just a more organized template, and to make it a bit more different than the same thing. 7-month season of the story, but you always have to vendor grind. You always have to do the playlist activity. I just don't like it all the time. We need to have some more, change in it, That's my next change that I want Bungie to implement going forward for seasons in the future. Now, one major thing that I want Bungie to either fix or change entirely and make a whole new thing out of it is the Guardian rank system. The idea is so awesome in my mind, but how it was delivered was one of the biggest disappointments in 2023 for me. If I was going to take, again, everything I hated about Lightfall and rank them, the Guardian ranks would be number 1 or number 2. I am really upset with that feature. Maybe I'm criticizing a lot, or I am actually just correct. I don't know. I am upset with how it was delivered, and throughout Year 6 or throughout Final Shape, Bungie needs to fix upon it. I don't want my level that people are going to see to be reset every season. That's so upsetting to me. If I was going to get the rank 20 or rank 10 or whatever to tell people that I'm a really good person in raids, a really good person in grandmasters, for it then to be reset to let's just say a new light level, or a level for a guardian to just be in when they log into the game and play for an hour, that is just not a great thing for Bungie to have. There should be an individual Guardian rank system leveling up for your Guardian that should be either infinite, or you should be able to reach a max rank and prestige it and have at least something to show off. Now, I also want rewards for this progression system to be implemented so you get something out of it, so it can be worth something. Now, I'm a person that when I see Guardian ranks, I'm like, oh, I want to grind it so much, I want to grind it, I want to get all the levels, but at the same time, what's the point? Because I'm not going to get anything out of it, and it's going to be reset. I don't like a Guardian rank system being reset throughout a season. If that's something Bungie is actually going to do, even though I'm going to hate it, make it better. Don't keep it for the system what it is. I want it to be actually something that's maybe forever or infinite or a yearly thing. It should be something that you're going to rank up on your, forever, on your own journey. Not something that you have to, set as, oh, I gotta get to this level so I can just tell people that I hit level 12 for 1 week before the next season. The system is bad, and I do not like it. If I was going to take everything that I've learned from other games, I want a great class progression system. This brings us to my last major change that I want Bungie to implement in the future, which is an entire new light experience. Now, believe me when I say this, the new light experience sucks right now. It has always been really bad since Beyond Light, when Bungie decided to make really this new light, experience. It was kind of in Shadowkeep, but it was more in Beyond Light if you actually think about it. Now, if you're going to tell your friend that, hey, Destiny is a great game, I want you to play it, the way of how a new light is going to be brought in this game from right now is horrible. Bungie needs to have the new light experience as their priority. Even if for a while they weren't appealing to new players into the game, they should really focus it on now, as after Final Shape, there's going to be an entire new saga, and even then, they should make a new experience for a new light so Guardians understand how to play the game and what the story is from Shadowkeep to Final Shape, so they can appeal to those people to build and make a bigger community. A lot of people don't understand what the game is, and even then don't know if it's a great time because they don't think the story is, well, let's just say simple. And a lot of games don't have simple stories, but it actually comes out to be the delivery first as well. If the delivery of a story is bad to new lights and Guardians aren't understanding it, then it's going to be hard for them to say, okay, I want to buy this entire expansion if they want to get into the story. There's many people that I know want to get into the story of Destiny, but they're so confused and they have no idea what they're doing. This brings up my major change, which again is an entire new light experience. With the timeline system that, let's just say, Bungie put out during the Witch Queen, and yet has been something that Bungie has not really used with, there should be certain videos or certain, flashbacks that we can click on in the timeline system, and then we will be put in like an entire, sort of recap video or recap cinematic for every expansion, for every event that Destiny has told about us since 2014. We have been going through a lot of events since 2014, Taken King, Red War, Forsaken, and yet people now won't know what that is, and it sucks. Bungie needs to change the story delivery of how things can be done, and even then, with expansion no longer being sunset, maybe it's time to bring back some of those campaigns. Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Red War, bring it back. I don't really know why they wouldn't. I understand why from a system where they're like, oh, that would take way too much time, but at the same time, let's pretend Bungie is not going to make another game or take a gap year in Destiny in 2025 after the Final Shape. It'll be a great time for Bungie to implement a lot of those features. But again, that's a while away. That's like 2 years away. For now, at least I want Bungie to implement a better story delivery, and even then, a better quest for new lights for the game. Even if we don't talk about the story for a minute, just the way of how to use a super and how to understand what how to play this and what the races are and what the planets to go to and what to do. You're usually just given a mission, a little quest, go to the tower, and then that's it. Now, Guardian Ranks was supposed to really fix that in a sense, but it's not really something that is going to get your all that attention. And even though Guardian Ranks it can help and support a new light in terms of what to do and where to go, it's only going to help them so far. It's not going to help them to, let's just say, to where they want to be at the end. And again, like I said, the system is not great, and I hope Bungie fixes that. I don't think that triumphs are usually the best way to deliver a thing. I feel like they should be given a quest, and then they should be given more of a cinematic or a recap of everything. And I don't want to be the guy that's saying that, oh, well, let's just tell them exactly what to do from step 1 to step 100, but there has to be more of, like, I wouldn't say strict, but a more of a better delivery in terms of the gameplay mechanics to a new light. And you put that on top of the cinematic delivery of the story recaps as well, it'll be really good for Guardians to know what the story is and how to play the game from start to finish, or at least for the time being at the beginning. Now, those are my top 5 features that I want Bungie to implement in the near future. Hopefully, some of them will be answered, now and again. I hope Bungie, puts out, a lot of those, TWABs, a lot of those things where Bungie will focus on, the near future and start telling us those major changes when we get to year 7. We know after Season of the Deep is concluded that we're likely going to get the Final Shape reveal, and we're likely maybe going to get some hints to what's next. And then again, we're probably going to get the Road to the Final Shape 12 later in the year, around, probably the late 2023. And those will answer a lot of our big questions of what we're going to get later on. So hopefully Bungie focuses on that. For the time being, we know that Season 23 will probably be the next big, huge change, being an LFG system. We'll see how time goes out with that, if Bungie actually implements it in a really good way or in not such a great way. Who knows? Hopefully it's a good feature, and we know there's going to be some small things in the time then, so that is great to at least hear. We need some good news right now for Destiny especially. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.